Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Kees, VP Marketing at Chili Publish.
Hi everybody, I'm Raf, I'm the Product Content Manager. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat.
Today we're going hands-on. No long slide decks, no theory. We're going to walk you through a real workflow. Bynder DAM connected to CHILI GraFx and GraFx Studio. And there are 3 moments in this demo that tend to get a strong reaction, so stay tuned. Raf, you've walked a lot of customers through this exact setup. What's the moment that usually lands?
Oh yeah, so it's when I select a product and everything updates all at once. So the product shot, all of the product info, the promo type, discount type, prices, and that's across all layouts. So different sizes, print, digital, animations, you name it. And they always say something like, wait, how did you do that?
Love it.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But let me set this up first. 2 minutes of framing. Because it'll make what Raf is about to show you mean a lot more. Let me paint the picture. You're a retail grocery brand. Hundreds of stores. Every week you run promotions, and every promotion needs in-store materials. Stanchions, end caps, promotional banners, digital screens, and of course it all needs to be on brand. The central team designs it, the local stores need it, and the production team in the middle, they can't keep up. Raf, when you talk to these teams, what does their current workflow actually look like?
Yeah, so it's pretty much always the same thing, and it's very tedious. So a lot of them work with InDesign. So they create, let's say, a sign and then render it through the InDesign server. But it's really limited. So basically all they're left with is static templates. They don't resize, there's no auto grow, no copy fitting, no logic, none of that. So when you need to prep, let's say, a sign kit, for instance, you need a card. So far, so good. But then there's multiple promo types, and for each promo, there can be different discounts. And on top of that, you've got different types of signs, so that's different sizes and aspect ratios. And obviously, you're dealing with thousands of products, so you end up with a huge amount of InDesign projects, and it's extremely difficult to manage. And let's also address the elephant in the room. So you've got digital displays. Well, now you're dealing with a different format and most likely animations, and that's a whole other set of issues, basically. And also, don't get me started on all of the updates and printing going on at each store, and that's almost every day. To do things like offload, like let's say perishables or markdown products that don't sell, and also keeping up with competitors next door that are also running promos on the same products. And all of this is just for weekly cycles, by the way. So there's a lot more going on, like seasonal campaigns, for instance.
And every new campaign, they start from scratch?
Pretty much, yeah. You need to create new InDesign files and tweak them all individually. And I mean, this workflow is just so tedious and it's so expensive.
Right. And that's exactly where the shift happens. With GraFx Studio, you bring that InDesign file in once. You create all your layout variants inside one design system. Then you make it smart. Copy fitting, conditional components, business logic, all baked into the template. Then you connect it to Bynder DAM. Approved assets flow in. Metadata populates all fields. Every layout adapts to whatever content it receives. And you don't redo that, ever, except if the campaign design changes. One design system instead of dozens of files. Bynder stays your single source of truth for assets. GraFx Studio is the production engine on top. Let's show you what that actually looks like. We're starting where you live, in Bynder, because most of you watching this know Bynder inside out. So let's begin with what's familiar.
Yeah, exactly. So here we're in Bynder. You can see some of the assets for this brand, so like logos, lifestyle images, and product shots, and particularly the metadata. We've got category, product name, price, campaign tag. It's all structured here. So in this example, we store metadata in Bynder, but you can also combine your Bynder DAM with a PIM, like Sourcify or InRiver. We've got our single source of truth. Everything's governed, it's been approved, and it's ready to go.
Perfect. So the assets are there, the metadata is clean. Now let's look at the other side, the design.
So here's the InDesign file made by your designer or your agency. So it's a promotional layout for an in-store ad cycle. But here's the thing. So this InDesign file only covers one variant. And what you really want is to be able to access all variants instantly.
Let's bring this into Graphics Studio.
So the first step is using the InDesign plugin. By the way, you can also import from Photoshop and soon from Figma. Or you can also create the design directly in Graphics Studio, which is basically what I do every time. Anyway, so when you use the plugin, it packages the file and you can import it directly into Graphics Studio. As you can see, the layout comes in clean. You've got your fonts, placeholder image, and yeah, the structure is all there.
And this is a one-time step, right?
Yeah, you only need to do this once. You import the first layout, and then from there, you build everything else inside Graphics Studio. You add your layout variants, things like your end caps or promo banners. You can add variables as well, obviously. So things like regular price, discounted price, and product info. You can build your promos, discount graphics, and you can just prompt the logic behind it as well. We've got Graphics Genie, so it's really quick and easy. So you know what, let me show you what it looks like when it's all done, right? So here I'm in run mode. So basically that's like our testing ground. I can change the promo. I can change the discount. I can select another layout. So I can go from card to end cap to promo poster. And I also have what I need for digital screens. So we've got landscape, and vertical. And all come with custom animations.
And this is all from that one InDesign file we imported?
Yeah, absolutely. That's all from one import. Basically, you just create different layouts and prompt the logic behind it.
Now, this only works because of what's connected underneath. Before we get to the big moment, let's show you the bridge.
So for the Bynder assets to flow into your templates, you need the connector. Let me show you how simple it is, because it's actually really simple. So you go into the connector hub and add your credentials. Then you open the template you want to connect it to and select Bynder. And this is where we replace the placeholder image with the assets that live in the DAM.
Minutes to set up?
Yeah, like 2-3 minutes, if that. And once it's there, it's always available. So for every template, every campaign, and every user.
Raf, can you open the asset panel?
Of course. So now we're in GraFx Experience. This is the brand portal. And so that's the part of the CHILI GraFx platform that's particularly useful to local teams. So the Bynder library is right here. That's inside GraFx Experience. So there's no downloads, there's no re-uploads. There's also all of the correct versions of the product shots. So the ones that we're going to be using on a weekly or daily basis.
So your DAM is part of the workflow now. Not a separate step, not a separate tool. The approved assets are right where your team needs them. And we know this is important for your DAM governance team. All of their rules and guidelines are being respected. This is just another way of using the assets without changing any of the taxonomy, the metadata, or the approval workflows.
Yeah, and for anyone who's used to downloading from Bynder, uploading somewhere else, and hoping it's the right file, this is really the moment that changes your day-to-day. It's much simpler.
All right, now let's see what happens when we actually use it.
Okay, so let's go with weekly promos. So I'll select all of the layouts I'm going to need. So here we've got a card, end cap, promo banner, and a vertical and a landscape for digital screens. So since everything's connected to data, I can just pick a product and voila.
Okay, what just happened?
Well, it's pretty awesome. So I selected one product in Bynder and the product info updated automatically. Same as the price, and the promo, discount, and discounted price. On top of that, it updates across all layouts. So literally just one click on the product and everything's ready to go.
So the local marketer who's doing this, they didn't touch each layout separately.
No, it's just like that. One click on the product in Bynder, and then the design system does the rest. The metadata links, so those were configured in GraFx Studio. So every layout pulls the correct info.
And that's the difference. The old way, one file per layout, manually updated every campaign. This way, one design system, everything in sync. And let's be clear, the person who just did this is not a designer. This is the local store marketer, picking a product, getting on-brand material in seconds.
Yeah, that's totally it. So if corporate forgets a sign in the sign kit, or if a sign gets damaged in the store, a member of staff opens GraFx Experience, locates the product, and clicks it. That's it. So you can print or export one or more layouts. And actually, speaking of, you can also edit them manually. So as someone who manages a local store, you can really keep up with the demand. So if you need to mark down a product, you can edit all the elements on it, like the promo or discount and the price, obviously. It's only going to take a few seconds. And cherry on top, since there are guardrails in place, it's always going to be on brand.
Last one, and this is the one that tends to land with ops teams.
So everything we did up to now was in a self-serve capacity. But obviously, you don't always require a person to be generating materials, especially for hundreds and hundreds of products. So you can also automate it. So for instance, if your pricing system updates at 11 p.m., a webhook fires, CHILI GraFx picks it up and generates the output. And again, that's all layouts, all formats, all promos and discounts with the product info, prices, etc. And this is all done automatically.
So by 6 a.m., every sign is ready, every market, every format, from the same design system that Raf set up once.
Yeah, you can use it for everything. So weekly promos, seasonal campaigns, whatever you need.
One more question, Raf. Can this output be also sent back to your Bynder DAM?
Yeah, of course. That's actually a simple tweak to your automation. So it sends the output back as assets into Bynder.
One InDesign file made smart. Bynder assets and metadata flowing in, all layouts produced automatically at scale, and if you wish, they're available back into Bynder. That's the stack. And this isn't just a concept. Retailers are running this model today. Colruyt Group, one of the largest retailers in Belgium, 80% of their recurring creative tasks are now handled independently by brand marketers. The central studio is freed up to focus on what actually needs creative input. Intermarché, localized assets across more than 1,800 stores, centrally produced, locally adapted, automatically. A similar workflow also runs for Carrefour. In all of these cases, the DAM didn't go away. It's still doing its job, governing assets, managing approvals. GraFx Studio is doing the job the DAM was never designed to do, production at scale. Raf, quick practical one. If someone watching this is already a customer, how do they activate the connector?
It's super straightforward. So toggle it in the connector hub, enter your credentials, and then select Bynder in your template.
That's it?
That's it.
Good. Raf, one last thing you'd want people to walk away with today?
Yeah, if you feel your workflow is tedious, come talk to us.
Bynder keeps doing what it does best. GraFx Studio adds a production layer it was never meant to have. The connector is live today. If you want to see this with your own templates and your own Bynder assets, the link to book a session is right below this video. Thank you for watching.
Thanks everyone. Have a good one.